Welcome to the Above Mentality Podcast, inspiring stories of success by extraordinary people. And now, your host, H.J. Sanchez.
Hello, everybody. This is H.J. Sanchez. Welcome to another episode of the Above Mentality Podcast. This is episode number 3, número tres. Today, I have a special guest. I know this person while back a while ago, like 15 years ago. We were together in the same company. A great leader, a great story. So, with that, I will introduce you to Alejandro Londono. Alejandro, how are you, my friend?
Hey Humberto, how are you?
Very
Thank you
good.
for having me here, and yeah, it's a pleasure for me to share with you this podcast.
Great, great. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Alejandro, let's start right off. My first question to you is, who is Alejandro Londono? For those for the audience watching us in YouTube and also listening to us on Spotify.
I would describe myself probably differently from the kind of claim of above mentality as a normal person, an ordinary man that is trying to do extraordinary things every single day. Um, I'm a lover of sports, and I did a lot of sports in university. I was close to be a professional soccer player, and during all my life, I've been just trying to prove myself through different things to be every day trying to be out of the comfort zone.
Great.
These days, I'm really keen on trying to be swimming. I'm doing a lot, trying to
Okay.
prepare for my first triathlon, and at the end, that's what I would say. I'm a person that I works like everybody. I love workout. I do my training, pretty disciplined all my life. But again, just at the end, a normal person that is trying to kind of prove himself to do extraordinary things
Great. Great.
in his life.
That's a great intro, Alejandro. And we will discuss all of this basically characteristic of yours further in this podcast. Thank you for sharing that, Alejandro. I have here in my notes you were born in Medellin, Colombia. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I was born 14th of October 1974. I'm going to be 50 this year, and I was born and raised in Medellin. That's correct.
Beautiful, beautiful. I have a few notes here of Medellin. I've been visiting Medellin since 2010. I fell in love with the city right away. It's the second largest city in Colombia, right? It is called, or the nickname is the Eternal Spring, or the City of Eternal Spring. Very famous for the modern transportation. Also, is very obviously very popular for the food lovers. Those foodies out there. Medellin is a great place to be. Also, coffee culture is all over Colombia, and it's the home of the famous artist Fernando Botero. Right,
That's
Alejandro?
that's right. Even Fernando, it's not just the home of Fernando Botero. He was born and raised in Medellin as well.
Very good.
That, by the way, Fernando Botero is the anyhow. Right now, he has passed away recently, but when he was alive, he was the artist most well paid in the world. The things that he did when he was
Wow.
alive, he was the only case, I think, that an artist alive could charge and could cause for these paintings and there's the things that he used to do all this money. So that's
Yeah.
correct. He
Yes.
was from Medellin as well.
And when you visit the city, I mean, it's obviously that he was born there. I mean, you will see all the his art all over the city. So if you
Yeah,
haven't visited Medellin, you must do.
he donated most of his of the things that he did to the city. There's a really nice museum. But the way I wanna kind of take advantage of this to for those that are gonna see this. leave a quick message for those Americans that comes to Medellin just to find women's and other things. I hope when they come and visit Medellin, there's other things to do. Okay, there's museums, there's fantastic restaurants, bars,
Whoa.
courses for those that they like to play golf. So it's not just about parties and women. And I hope that those that come as well take a chance to see what really the city is and what really Colombia is, and the
Yes.
new story of a country that definitely changed 25 years, 35 years ago.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna discuss that in depth during the podcast. Well said, Alejandro. So let's stay in Medellin. I mean, how was growing up in Medellin? Obviously, Alejandro. I mean, you were born in '74. Basically, we have the same age. You were in the middle. I mean, growing up in the middle of the most difficult, let's say, era of Colombia as a country, obviously with the epicenter in Medellin. Um, Talk to us about growing up in Medellin, Colombia.
That's a great question, Humberto. I think that I can recall when I was 14 years old, 1989, when everything kind of started this kind of war, the Medellin cartel against the Colombian government, until probably 1992. That was the year when Pablo Escobar was shot and killed in Medellin.
Hmm.
It was difficult, of course, because at that time we used to be called, the city of Medellin used to be called the capital murderer of the world. I know that some of the series that are shown
Very
in the
popular in
States these
Netflix
days in
nowadays.
Netflix, yeah, kind of they have a little bit of fantasy, but most of that was true. The was really painful for the country, for the city. So we could see friends from high school dying on the streets. I can recall one of the bombs that was placed close to the Intercontinental Hotel. I remember that one of my friends in high school and his mom was just crossing with the car around that place, and they just unfortunately they died. I remember
Wow.
the days when the airplane leaving Bogota to Cali was bombed as well, 250 people. So again, it was crazy. It was crazy again. The statistics at that time used to say that in 1989, for example, that was the first invasion of U.S. to Afghanistan, sorry, to Iraq. More people used to die here in Medellin than the casualties due to the war
Wow.
in Iraq. So you
Wow.
can kind of dimension the kind of craziness that we live and experience those days in the city of Medellin. For me, it was really difficult because when you are 14, you want to go out, you want to have a normal life, but
Hang with your
there's a lot of
friends. Yeah.
limitations. And most of the things that when I recall those days is we ended normalizing death. For us was pretty normal when someone said, "Oh, um, this happened, this bomb exploded,
Yeah.
500 casualties, 200 casualties," and we ended normalizing that, which is really interesting in our
Definitely.
culture when that happened.
Alejo, I have a question for you. I Since I started visiting Colombia, I noticed it right away, the disciplines of Colombian people. I wonder how much of that discipline, at least our era, right, our generation, came from those tough moments, right? You living with your parents, and if you were not disciplined or follow instruction, you could probably die. How much of that discipline came from that, and how much came from just the genes, normal genes of the Colombian
Um,
people?
I would say that more than discipline, Colombians and Colombians. I don't want to tie to especially people from Medellin, but in general, Colombians we are a culture of a lot of resilience,
Oh,
and
yes.
most of us of people from my generation that grew up through all those difficulties, 1999 till the 2000s, which at that year is the end of the Cali cartel as well. We grew up with a lot of resilience. We kind of are a really resourceful country because we
Mm-hmm.
had to do it. And I think that a proof of that is where the country is right now. I
Oh
really
yes.
feel pain when I see productions and series like Griselda Blanco right now in Netflix that really doesn't help the image of the real Colombia. And I want to take advantage of this podcast as well, Humberto, to say that
Of course.
Colombia is not just drugs, cartels, and murders and bad people. This is a country founded with a lot of resilience, a lot of entrepreneurial spirit. People had to find their way to survive. People had to find their way to leave the country, to really go to the States or to other parts of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and to really construct and build other things and build a new lives doing good things. We have names right now pretty well known in the world that show part of that resilience, not just in the for example, in the field of arts like Fernando Botero, but in the music, Maluma, J Balvin, and people which is represent Colombia in a different way. Carlos Vives, Shakira, Juanes, and that's the real Colombia.
Don't let out Carol G, please.
Carol G, that is really big right now, of course. So that's the real Colombia. Resilient people who dream one day to be in the number one spot, coming from a country with all that history of murder, of death, and whatever. But Colombians really is those images, Carol
Yes.
G, J Balvin, Maluma, Carlos Vives, Fernando Botero, and we can talk a lot of examples here. So again, to your question, um, discipline, of course, but that discipline tied to a country that is really resilient,
Resilience.
that could come back from those days and create a
Yeah.
new country, and really take back the country and create basically a new society. And coming to Medellin, to Bogota, or whichever city you go, you're going to see the kindness of our people. We are warm. We are, I would say, pretty nice. You can tell when you're in a restaurant how people
Yeah.
serve you with that proud and that eagerness to that you feel okay. So that's Colombian people.
There you
We are
go.
not
Yeah.
just criminals, drug dealers. That's part of
Whatsoever.
the yeah. That's part of the past of this
Whatsoever.
country. We are resilient people, creative, entrepreneurial, and really resourceful, and with a high capacity of work, I would say. And there's a lot
Perfect.
of examples of Colombians in big multinationals like Microsoft and others that are at top positions. And that talks really well about our ethics and our capacity to work.
Yeah.
So,
Great,
so
great leadership
that's
in
it.
the country. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Alejandro, let's move forward now into your professional career, right? I mean, you went to college. It was also in Medellin, Colombia, or it was in
Yeah,
Bogota?
I did all my high school in Colombia. Then I went to university in Colombia as well, in Medellin, and then I had the opportunity to live in Canada when I
Okay.
finished my BA, and I did my MBA in University of Toronto Rodman School of Business,
Okay.
and I went there for 2 years.
Nice, nice. And what was your, I mean, your background? You went directly into business, or it was other
I
subjects?
went really directly into business. I started to work really my first job that it was for a great company, Colgate Palmolive from US, big multinational, and that was my beginning in sales and marketing.
Okay. Okay. And then, I mean, fast forward to your education, you get back to Colombia, and then actually, I mean, we met at
I, I,
J&J.
I
That's
really I really lived 7 years in Toronto, Canada,
oh,
um,
okay.
uh, working for Colgate. Then I came back and I worked for Samsung Electronics. and then I moved to Johnson and Johnson, where we met, and
Yes.
great companies. I learned a lot. Great cultures as well, especially J&J, and right now that we met again there at Teleflex, a company based on Wayne, Pennsylvania, and with offices, sales and marketing in Raleigh, North Carolina, Teleflex.
Yes.
And right now I'm leading the northern region for Teleflex at a commercial level.
Okay. Okay. That's great. How will you compare both experiences without getting into the details of the companies, but culturally, do you notice some differences? Could you elaborate on that?
Mostly I've worked for U.S. corporations, I would say, and mostly the core of the cultures are the same base. Yeah, fully oriented to results, fully oriented to, in case of sales, um, reach your sales targets, um, high levels of competitiveness inside as well.
Yeah.
Um, really good and solid culture of teamwork, and a really culture of these companies that I really love, that is probably fostering and building teams that are really keen on winning, always winning. I always would say, some people say that you need to build teams around creating families, but I don't believe that. When you are in a company, or even if you're an entrepreneur and you're building your team, you need to build teams that are really keen on winning.
Yeah.
That always they want to win. They're always there looking for new ways to do things, new approach to um, um, get connections with our customers, and new ways to really find ways to how we can grow and build up the business. And the only mentality that you need to have when you do that is people that you bring to the team that really want to win.
Yes, perfect. And I know that's your mentality, Alejandro. I mean, like I said, I know you from a while back ago, and you always has have this mentality, winning, always sending me motivational quotes, and vice versa. Uh, Talk to me about where that mentality came from. I mean, how could you be so constantly on a daily basis, so motivated and with the same mindset? I mean, explain to the audience.
I think that probably, like most of us, we incorporate in our daily basis, and later on in our lives, what we saw when we were growing. And I remember my dad, which was a fantastic guy, really disciplined, with a really kind of healthy, sporty life. And I always remember him telling me that the first win that you need to kind of have is winning yourself. And that's the most important thing. I mean, if you don't do the effort to wake up early in the morning, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
case, you are really cheating yourself. So everything for me, it starts about winning and being honest with yourself. And if you are winning yourself, and when I say winning yourself is, and one of my favorite speakers and references to two guys in the United States that hopefully you can invite them here. David Goggins and Jocko Willink, fantastic
Mm-hmm.
guys, both of them former U.S. Navy SEALs, and they talk about that basically is winning yourself, is when the clock rings in the morning and you say, I'm going to wake up, it's cold, it's raining. That's the first step that you need to do, and it's waking up
Yeah.
and winning to yourself, because your mind is the first challenge that you have. And when you can win your mind is when you really
That's so
can
true, Alejandro.
produce winning in your daily basis, and you can transmit or communicate that to your people, to your teams, to your colleagues, and that's the first thing. Jocko Willig has in one of his podcasts when he said, "Is your decision is you're gonna eat that donut, or if you're gonna drink that soda, or if you're gonna do workout or not, or if you're gonna win or not. Is your own decision." So I would describe that around that. It's first winning yourself, winning your mind, and those challenges that you have here, your fears. That all of us we have fears, and
Oh
how
yeah.
to overcome that in a daily basis.
And that what you just said, Alejandro, I mean, it rings the bell. I mean, that's discipline. And I heard a lot of people talking about discipline versus motivation, right? And those
Yes.
those top performers, they will say, I will pick discipline over motivation every day. Motivation comes and go, but if you are disciplined, like you just said, I mean,
Yeah.
winning that first battle that is in your mind, you will be very successful.
Yeah, that's a great point, Humberto, because mostly what we have been taught is that you or people can get motivated. And that's a concept that is being really kind of replaced by, if you're not mo- if you don't have your motivation yourself,
Hmm.
and you need someone outside to motivate you, you're lost in this life. And motivation is not just waking up happy, positive, driven. Motivation for me has to do more when you are in difficult situations and how you navigate those difficult situations. Let's say you're underperforming, and if you don't have the capacity to continue motivated in those situations and explore inside yourself and say what is happening, um, you're going to have problems to navigate in a daily basis in your life. So again,
Yes,
motivation for me is not just a concept or being happy, being motivated. Is about how you deal really with problems and how you can keep your motivation in those difficult situations.
so true. Perfect. Well said, Alejandro. Well said. Alejandro, when we met in 2010, again, we were with J&J. You were, I mean, performing some managerial jobs, but now, I mean, 10 years after, now you're leading the entire country, representing this company from the US. Talk to me about that process, being a manager to now you're leading the entire country for that company. What took you there?
Um, I think that at some point, I think that you need to embrace the opportunities that lives provide you at some point in your life. And one of my best professional experiences that I have had is being working for Teleflex during the last 7 years. When you tell me what took me here, it was an opportunity, meaning I left J&J to take, I would say, to embrace a challenge, and that challenge was to open the operation direct for Teleflex in Colombia after 25 years working with distributors. And I embraced that experience like an opportunity. I said, this is a kind of a startup. We
A new
started
start.
start basically two people. Right now we are 20 after 7 years. We have kind of quadruple the sales from 2017 till 2024, and it was embraced that opportunity because it's the only opportunity that I have had to really build and provide ideas around the structure that we wanted in the commercial side, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to your question is sometimes in life there's come opportunities that you need to embrace that looks difficult,
Yep.
and really put all your 100% in building up that opportunity. So zooming up, I describe where I'm right now. It's just an opportunity that came to my life at a point that I said, started an operation, small resources, la 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 la, and I say, you know what, this is my opportunity to grow, and to show that I'm willing to to prove myself that I can build this direct operation in Colombia. And right now, not just I'm leading Colombia, I'm leading the northern region, other countries involved. So,
There you go.
but again, was that great opportunity that I got with Teleflex. And at the end, people think that uh, when you get a job, that people think that you are getting a job. You're not getting a job. You are getting the trust that people that believe in you, to take that role, or to lead that project, and better to always, to those people that believe in you, that you can look them always to their eyes. And when I say that, is because you have been honest with you, you have produced the results. But people think, oh no, I get a job. No, you don't get a job. You get you have the confidence of people that believe that they were hiring you to effectively deliver those results and those expectations that they
Right.
have with you. So better that when you see life like that, and you can look at those people that believe in you and give you their trust, and so on and so on, that you can look at them at their eyes, because you produce and you deliver based on the expectations that
I,
the
I
company or
did
the
my
leaders
best.
have.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Alejandro. And recently, also you were, let's say, recognized, right? You and the country were recognized
Yeah,
for the great job you did last year. Tell me more about
yeah.
that.
Not just this year. It's been already 4 years. Uh, we've been like the best country in terms of growth and sales revenue. Last year, the team and myself, we've been recognized like the top commercial director for Teleflex in the LATAM region.
Hmm.
And again, it's been nothing can be produced and delivered if you don't build great teams. And I'm going to
Talk
tell
to me
you,
about that. Building teams. I mean, what is the secret of Alejandro Londono in building teams?
as I told you, I think creating a winning mentality, empowering people, I think that is really important, especially in sales. People think that you need to micromanage in sales, and I think that micromanaging in sales is the worst strategic mistake that you can do, because at the end, sales is a creative role. I mean, you need to be every day waking up and thinking how I'm going to grow, how I'm going to
Yes.
introduce new products, how I'm going to keep my customers happy in the long term, and in the short term, and in the medium term. So it's really creative. It's not about a role like in finances or logistics, that everything is a process. Sales is about creation.
So
So
true. Yeah.
requires to pushing your people to that, to create. And when I say pushing, is in the best sense, providing them with the tools that they need, and as a leader, kind of make them feel secure that everything that you are working with them is providing the tools, um, to make sure that they reach their sales targets. And that's for me the most important thing, empowering people as well, that they
Yeah.
feel that they can take decisions, and they can think by themselves.
That's very true, Alejandro. I was in sales myself, and is having. I mean, sometimes you can call it pressure, right? Of performing and getting to your goals. But like you said, I mean, you have to always look for new ways, creative ways to deliver a message, actually to access key stakeholders, to promote your product, to provide a new angle of the same story. So it's an, I mean, sales are artists on the field trying to reach a goal, and the key, maybe the role of the manager is, again, providing that coaching, that freedom to for them to be created, and provided the resource needed. So yeah, I completely agree with you.
That's right. That's right.
Perfect. Alejo, let's do now quick fire. Quick fire questions. I will ask a few questions, and basically you will say the first thing that comes to mind, just one thing. And the first thing that I will ask is, I mean, what's your favorite sport?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
told
I
me you
was,
were almost a professional soccer player, right?
yeah, I played since high school, since I was a kid. As you know, soccer in Latam is like, if you don't play
Oh,
soccer, yeah. So
huge.
I had a chance that I had a father that always kind of challenged me to practice the sports in soccer. Soccer is my favorite, definitely.
Perfect. Favorite food?
Um, mm, uh, Really, I don't know how to describe this in English, but my favorite food is something that is called in Colombia fiambre.
Fiambre.
And probably in other countries in Latam we have the fiambre. Is a plantain, is a plantain. I don't know how to say, but it comes with pork, potatoes, like
Oof.
marinated in tomatoes with onions. It has chorizo, arepa, rice, boiled egg, and they wrap it on the banana leaf. It's a banana
Okay.
leaf, and you can eat it kind of cold, and all those kind of flavors from the meats, from the egg, from the rice, from the potato,
Oh, they
kind
come
of get mixed,
together.
and it's really nice. Even I would say that if I die and someone tells me, okay, what is going to be your last food,
Last
it would
meal.
be fiambre, which was,
That's
by the way, has a fiambre has a beautiful story behind, and is when the farmers and all these people that used to work long hours and they leave home,
mm-hmm.
their wives kind of build this banana leaf with all this food, wrap it, and they took it to eat at lunch, and it was this kind of uh, a huge carb load in your body to continue working for the rest of the day. Yeah. So it's really
Perfect.
nice.
Perfect.
Fiambre.
And Alejandro, I mean, normally I ask the favorite drink. I know you don't drink alcoholic beverage. Um,
Not too
question
much,
is
but
okay.
socially, when I'm out, I would go for something simple, pretty common, Negronis. I love
Okay.
Negronis, and I would have a few, couple of glasses of wine if I'm having a dinner, not more than
Okay.
two. And recently, I've discovered that um, it's really good to drink mezcal or tequila. They don't have high loads of sugar on it because
Yes.
they are the style from other different things. So sometimes I have a mezcal or a tequila, no more than
Okay.
one or two.
Okay. Okay. That's always good. Favorite city that have you visited?
Favorite city that I have visited. Definitely for me, Rio de Janeiro. The energy of the city connects with what I am. Really sporty, a lot of sports on the beach,
Yes.
surfing spots as well, nice restaurants. But the vibe and the energy is really interesting. By the way,
Cool.
when you go there as a tourist, you see the tourist side of Rio de Janeiro, but Rio de Janeiro is more than that tourist ring. Bucios, Paraty, which is, by the way, one of those architectural sites
Landmarks. Uh-huh.
in the world, landmarks in the world, Paraty. So yeah, Rio de Janeiro, and the energy of Rio de Janeiro for me is the best city
Yes.
that I have visited. Yeah.
Good one. And then last but not least, Alejandro, your favorite quote. And I know you have plenty of them. Which one is your
My
favorite?
favorite quote. I would go for pretend inferiority and embrace their arrogance. That would be
Ooh,
my favorite one. Yeah,
that's a solid one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Which means
Alejandro,
at the end, um, uh, is better silence to be loud. Um, is connected with that. Pretend
so true.
inferiority and embrace their arrogance.
So true, Alejandro. So, Alejandro, I mean, fast forward, what is Alejandro Londono doing now? I know, I mean, we talk about your background, your formation, specifically on different sports. Uh, Very well disciplined guy. What is Alejandro Londoño life? I mean, what's happening right now in terms of fitness, sports, etc.
Okay. Right now, I'm really keen on swimming. Getting ready for my first. It's called the Ocean Man. Is
Okay.
like a worldwide organization that they do swimming spots all around the world, and you can do 2K, 5K, or 10K. Really, the 2K is on a sprint. I'm getting ready for the 5K. I'm going to Algarve, Portugal, to do my first one. So I've been getting ready for that. And the other thing that I have found fascinated 6 months, probably 7 months ago, is that I have started to train to do what is called, I don't know in English how to say, but it's apneas, when you go inside the water and
Okay.
you keep
Deep ocean.
your breath, yeah, devotion, and trying to challenge yourselves in terms if you can go 10, 12, 15 meters for a beginner. That's a
No
huge
oxygen. I
challenge.
mean, no
Yeah, by the
equipment.
way, I'm trying with a guy here in Colombia called John Muniz. That would be interesting if he can come here to this podcast on the
Oh
next one,
yes.
Alberto, because he's one of the champions for LATAM. He has broke a few records. But the most kind of interesting thing that I've been learning here is how you control your breath, and how important is being conscious of that. Is helping me a lot because in the past I have like panic attacks, and it happened in a public presentation, and that's not really good. And at that point, I started to think I need to understand what created that panic attack at that moment. It has
Of
been
course.
just one, but it was kind of a red flag for me. And it's everything about how you can breathe better and kind of level your levels of cortisol and things like
Wow.
that to avoid
Interesting.
the stress. Yeah.
Mind over body. 100%, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Well, you said his name was James?
No, it's John Muniz.
John. John.
Yeah, I can contact you with him. Again,
John, if you're listening to this podcast, you're more than welcome to join us. So I will
yeah,
reach out.
he's the Latin American champion on apnea, and as I told you, he has broke a few records, um, going down the
Yep.
water for
Wow.
for I think 132 meters, something like that.
No, crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Alejandro, before we close this podcast, anything that you want the audience to remember, to keep in mind, again, your mentality, your life philosophy, anything you want to share with the audience?
No, again, I consider all of us, because we are not. Um, I would say we are not LeBron James. We are not Tom Brady's. We are not. So again, it's just to embrace the life at your best, uh, trying to learn new things every day. I think that is important.
Yes.
Um, Reading books, doing courses about things that uh, you think that it would help you to improve, not just in what you do as a work or in your company, or if you are an entrepreneur, more around how you can grow as a human being. I think that is the most important thing. How you can strengthen your spirituality as well. I think that is
Yes.
important because,
Very
and how
important.
you take care of yourself. I mean, when you understand that taking care of yourself is the most important act, because if you cannot take care of yourself, you're gonna get you are not gonna be successful taking care of your family, your friends, your kids, your whatever you have as a responsibility in life. So I would say that the last message is always trying to be mindful of the importance to take care of yourself, how to
There you
eat
go.
proper, um, what it fits for me, because not everything fits for everyone, and at the end, what makes me happy. I think that is the most important thing.
There you go. Spot on, Alejandro. Alejandro, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it was a story of discipline, of resilience, like you mentioned, and then mind over body, which I think is important as well. Thank you so much for your time. Blessings to you and your family, and for the audience listening and watching this podcast. See you next time.
Hey, Humberto, thank you, and thank you for inviting me. Really, it was really good.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Okay, bye bye. Take care,
Thank you for
Humberto.
joining us on this episode of the Above Mentality Podcast. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Above Mentality Podcast. If you enjoyed the stories and insights shared today, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends and family. Your feedback is very important to us. Stay connected with us on social media or visit us at aboveheadwear.com. Remember, live the above mentality and keep rising above. See you next time.